Hey, what's up? How's it? Aloha, welcome to Culturize. It is me, Makani. This is a space where we get to share, talk, and learn cultures. We've been covering all kinds of cultures. I'm so excited today because this is going to be our very first Zoom conversation. And I wanted to talk about Tongan culture. And my go-to, I got to find my friends who have got this culture in them. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm so excited. The Fehokos, what's going on, you guys?
Aloha.
First of all, I got to say mahalo, you guys, for taking time, because you guys where are you guys in the world right now?
We're in Houston.
In Houston. What you guys? Wow. So you guys have actually been there for a while already.
Yeah, we've been here for a while, and Linda's Texas accent gonna really, I hope, don't come out.
I was gonna say a Tongan Texan accent is gotta be the most craziest thing. Now, we're talking Tongan culture today, and we know there's so much, and both of you, I always think about you two and the culture that you folks hold. Right? Wherever you go in the world, I'm always impressed. Is it safe to say, when it comes to Tongan culture, faith, family, and culture are the three most important things?
Amen. Yes, absolutely. And football.
And okay, I was gonna say we're gonna get to that. I want to kind of go back now. I know both of you met at PCC, Polynesia Culture Center. Linda, where did you go to high school and grow up?
Actually, I'm from Fiji.
Okay, even there you go. That's for you.
I tell you, that top of block is awesome.
So,
but I went to high school in Fiji.
What was that like?
You know, I was basically raised in a very strong Fijian culture.
Mm-hmm.
But my mom was English.
Wow. Okay.
And my dad was half Chinese, but my grandmother was like a chief from her village.
Okay.
So I still speak the language fluently. I practice the culture fluently. My mom and dad, my dad passed away, my grandma passed away. We go through the Fijian traditions and the rituals. And it's something that I teach it to our kids. So
what are some of the things within the Fijian culture that we may not, that you take into your adult life now, that you do today, like growing up? Things. What was it like as far as being a high schooler in Fiji? Did you have responsibilities? You come from a chiefly line. Was there a certain way you needed to carry yourself?
Definitely, because you see, this is how it really worked. So because my grandmother was stringent that we learned the culture the right way, and she married a Chinese man, we also, so that's how my dad is half Chinese and my maiden name is Lee. He pulled more to the Fijian culture, surprisingly. You know, he spoke the language, and you see an Asian Fijian like literally know more about the culture and the dialect, the chiefly dialect, than anybody else did on the islands.
Which is that was the
crazy part.
Which is a good quantifier of the power of a Fijian woman. I don't care where you come from, you're going to be Fijian. You're going to be Fijian. So, Vili, born and raised where?
I was born in the island of Tonga. Moved to Hawaii as a young age, and I grew up in the town of Laie in the North Shore of Oahu. The culture was just jumping right into it because my dad was he played music, and in our house we always sing and dance and stuff. But right into in Laie at the Polynesia Culture Center, that's where I like they always say, all the spirit of people coming to place. I see Hawaii, Tonga, Samoa, Fiji, all the island, and the culture was just strong on me growing up. Learning not just my Tongan culture, but learning different culture. That's my 4 boys growing up. I just want like they grew up in watching both me and Linda dancing at PCC. You know, the culture was this. They jump right into it, and I'm so proud that I went on to do Kahuku High School, graduated 1983. So here I am. I'm here with my beautiful wife,
with
Linda.
So with both of you, what was it like leaving Fiji and leaving Tonga and coming to Hawaii? Did you folks both went straight to Brigham Young, both to BYU?
No, Vili came as a child.
Yeah.
I was the one that came from Fiji by myself. I remember, my mom and dad giving me 200 Fijian dollars and saying, go. And my story is crazy because I was stuck at the Honolulu International Airport for about 24 hours. And I had no idea where we're going. Because it was New Year's Day, and so the university was closed. And we didn't know what the difference in the time was. So when we left there Christmas Eve, we got here and you gain a day. You gain a day, and so
I want you to hold that thought because I wanna get into this. I thank you guys first of all again for being here. If you're joining us, this is Culturized, bringing you what matters. Viewers can receive the Star Advertiser digital full access subscription for just $9.95 per month. Go to staradvertiser.com and click on subscribe. Use the code AHITHING. We're talking about transitioning from Fiji into Hawaii. You're stuck at the airport. School is closed. What did you do? Was that your first time to Hawaii?
Yes, first time actually, to the United States ever. So I was like, okay, I had $200 in my pocket. They were Fijian money. I didn't know what to do with it. And so I went to a payphone and I was looking up Brigham Young University, and the yellow pages didn't have a Brigham Young University in there. So and so I waited, and then I used pretty much a lot of my money on the payphone. And I remember another friend of mine that we came together. We basically was able to get a hold of somebody through the payphone, white pages. We had to. It's crazy, and eventually paid $60 for a cab from Honolulu Airport to Laie.
Wow.
But it didn't end there. When I got to Laie, they didn't have my name on the admittance student enrollment.
So here you are, high school, graduated from Fiji, first time to the United States, first time to Hawaii. Once you got to Laie, then what happened?
I just took off my shoes and then I started. Seriously, I was wearing heels and it got really sore. And I remember that taking it off and going to the dorms and meeting some Fijian people there, some Fijian students. And they said, no, your name's not on the list. And they take me to admissions. They're like, no, your name's not on the list. And I'm like, well, I ain't going back to Fiji because I'm stuck now. But the rest is history. I basically went up to the academic vice president and got him, Brother Reed, and I said, you have to admit me. I can't go back home. And if I promise you that I will graduate with honors, and you have to admit me, and the rest is history.
I love that. I'm trying to think back. What was going on in Fiji at the time? I remember it was the coup. The coup was going on. Was that part of the reason why?
No, I actually left before the coup.
Mm-hmm.
And the timing just was perfect. And then before I knew it, there was so much instability. There was literally some kind of just a culture war, really.
Yes.
That's what it was about. It was a culture war. People say it was this war and that war, and they try to, find a name for it. Oh, it's political. No, it was a culture war. It was just the Fijians standing up and fighting for their heritage and fighting for, their place in politics and, and continue to fight for their land.
And not a lot of people know, but that it wasn't all over the news, but it was a detrimental time for the Fijian islands. And so now you're in Hawaii. I love how the fact that you demand to be at BYU. It's like, no, No, you're going to put me in. They put you in. So now you fast forward. Vili, growing up in Kahuku, we always, it's always so many different cultures. Was there the time you were growing up, was there a bigger Samoan community or Tongan community? Or just about even?
But both Samoan, but mostly Samoan in that community. But Tongan started to move in. They start moving in, and they're gonna spread all over the place. People they would have liked to live in Honolulu, but we grew up as the LGS church and the Mormon church. So my uncle took us straight all the way to Laie. And I said, first we were living in Honolulu for like a month, and me and my brother, we like it there. You go to Waikiki Beach. You see all the wahine, you see everybody over there go, oh, this is cool.
It's a whole different...
When the day they tell us we're going to move to the North Shore, man, I wanted to cry. Like, I don't want to... Go ahead.
If you're joining us, we're talking with the Fehokos, Fijian and Tongan culture right here on Culturized. Aloha Termite and Pest Control, your local and leading pest and termite control solution in the state. Always providing you superior service with Aloha. Hey, thanks for joining us right here in Culturized. My name is Makani, sitting down talking story about Fijian and Tongan culture and their influences on the world, the influences on us. And the two people that I'm speaking to is Linda and Vili Fehoko. PCC, Polynesian Culture Center. Linda, you get into BYU. Vili, huge football star in the state of Hawaii. Did you know that you were going to go straight, you're going to stay in Hawaii, or did you want to go away for football? Because that's a huge thing. If you don't play football in Kahuku, they think something is wrong with you, right?
Right.
Did you want to go away? Did you want to go away, or did you want to play in Hawaii?
Growing up in Kahuku, like you say, everything is that football become like a lifestyle, religion, most likely. And was growing up, and I see a lot of my friends going to college. I went the other way. They have this tryout came to Hawaii, was a Canadian Football League, the CFL. CFL came, and one friend of mine came and asked, "Hey, I want to go to a tryout." Nobody know about this. I want to try out. Out of all those 200 people was in Manoa that day, they take 3 people. I was one of them.
Wow.
Yes, I ended up in California. From there they picked like 10 guys to go to Canada, and I still one of them. I was going in that direction. I wanted to, be a football player. I went to Canada. Things didn't ever really work out that way. So when I came back, my brother kept pushing me. Man, you should go to college. You got talent and everything. The time my brother was living in San Diego, so why don't you go and walk on at San Diego State? I said, nah, you know what? I want to go back home. To me, I just wanted to go back home. I said, well, my brother, why you want to go back home? Everybody's not doing anything. Everybody going to college. You should be doing that. So I went back home. I, went back to PCC and worked there. And I met Linda at PCC. And that day on, we have our 4 boys. And that was my goal all along. If I have a kids one day, I want to push them. I want to make sure they're going to go on further where I go. I want to make sure they're going to go to college. And I'm so blessed that this whole 4th son got a full ride scholarship to go to college. That was my goal all along, to come back home.
Now I see where the drive comes from, right? Man. Now, when you went to Canada, like, if you think about it, in that era, it wasn't like today. There was no tape on you. There were no, right. Nobody, they must have been eyes wide open when they seen your size and your strength and your speed, because this was 80s? They had no idea somebody the size of you can move that quick, that somebody right. the size of you can lift that much, and you can play. But the determination that you had, I'm going to go to Canada. That's what I like about the Fehokos. Whatever you guys set your mind to, you did. Now, football and sports was a huge part of you guys' lives. Or is there any other sports that you two played or you made the boys play?
Soccer.
When I was growing up, Linda was a head coach. Linda coached them from playing soccer. That was the game they played. Linda was their head coach.
I played soccer. I played soccer in Fiji a lot.
No way.
Yeah. And so when I was 16, my sister and I were selected to go like these national teams and stuff. But that's all the game I knew was to come to. When I had the boys, I said, they're all going to play soccer.
I had no idea soccer was a huge sport. Is it football in Fiji?
Yeah, they call it football. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you came to the U.S., you're like, what is wrong with you guys? I play football. And then you meet Vili and you're like, no, we both play football. No, I play the other kind. So again, it goes back to, now we're talking sports, we're talking determination. How much do you pull from each culture? Because now I want to talk about the boys. How many boys you guys have now? The four boys, right?
4 boys.
How much of the culture do you instill in them? Think about that for a second, because the culture that you guys exude is pretty amazing. I want to know if there's a perfect balance of Fiji and Tonga within raising the boys. So if you're joining us, welcome to Culturize. We're talking Fiji and Tongan culture with the Fehokos, man, and we're still you're probably looking at him going, why does he look familiar? We're going to talk about that too coming up right here on Culturized. For all your money needs, Hawaiian Financial Federal Credit Union is here for you. Visit hificu.com. That's hi-fi, letter C, letter U.com. Fijian, Tongan culture, you're getting 2 for 1 today. These two beautiful people that are sitting in front of me. I'm so excited. I have not seen them in the longest time, almost to the point where I forgot where they are in the world, because they have 4 boys. They raised, they were men right out of the womb, right? They were men. Raising the boys, now they became huge football stars, but their drive, their sports, their agilities, but that all comes from culture. How much? So, Linda, I always say, you look at Vili, right? He is a man. He's a huge man. But behind every powerful man, there is a more powerful Fijian woman. Now, when you give culture to the boys, is it a perfect balance, or who? What is it more? Do you pull from both sides?
I have to tell you, because Vili was Tongan and I was Fijian, and we started our family in Hawaii. We literally regard ourselves as like locals, right?
Yes.
Like Hawaiians. So we came to the understanding, this is when we married and I was pregnant with the boys. We sat down and talked about it, and we said, no, we're going to teach them the Polynesian culture, not Hawaii, not Tongan, not Fijian, not Samoan, because people don't realize Vili was also raised by Samoan family. We're going to teach them that they are Polynesian, and that's going to be their heritage. And wherever they go, whatever they do, they're going to take a piece of Polynesia with them. Because we start to teach them about the voyage, we teach them about the battle, we teach them about the war, and that's the significance of how we keep them grounded. Even today, as men, as big as they are, they still take that piece with them. And we talk about it all the time. They'll call their dad, they'll call me, Mom, am I doing this right? Dad, am I doing this right? Yeah, you guys are, So, I'll turn the time over to Vili, because he can elaborate how we did that and what came of it.
It's such a Polynesian concept, though, right? It doesn't matter how successful you are in your adult life. Your parents are going to be like, so what are you going to do now? What are you going to do? I want to know, training wise. Now, when you train these boys, Polynesian boys, into sports, was it intense at home? I mean, like, you're going to wake up, you're waking up at 5, you're running, you're lifting.
Yes.
Who was more of the strength and conditioning coach in the household?
I was the sergeant on the field, and academic was Linda. But at home, our living room was just like every other local, living room in Hawaii. my wife said, "What are you doing?" I start moving weight inside me, and the kids start doing weight. And you know what? A lot of people in the North Shore now, they're still telling me this. They bring this up and say, "Billy, I remember in the front of the BYU that you used to stood up your boys with pads and run them around. People think I was crazy, run them out." And I wanted my boys at young age, hey, this is what you want to do in life. Everything is no shortcut here. You got to work for it. You got to hit that warrior mentality.
Yes.
But the thing about it, the training continued to that. When I would become the warrior at the University of Hawaii, my kids at young age carrying those drums. Those drums are heavy. On game days, a lot of people are like, "Man, it's so cool to see you guys on TV." But my boys always talk about it. People wanna, but they carry those drums, set it up, make sure the drumstick was ready,
Right.
and take it with a lot of Polynesian pride. And I tell my boys, listen, this is like football. This is like training. Culture is gonna bring the best of you. When the light's gonna hit you, the spotlight of the stadium, I want you to beat those drums. And I always say this: give me one heartbeat. You know what I mean? I can feel the heart of the drum. And when I bring my boys into the stadium, and the Hawaii, they never really they were so proud to see those kids are pounding the drums that I tell them we'll become one. And I told my kids this. I told my boys this. Listen. This is what I teach the culture. Listen to look at Aloha Stadium. The ground of Aloha Stadium is a sacred ground. Yep. The people, the kupuna, the people when walk before that, you're walking on it, and we pounding the beat of the drums. We're showing to the world we come with one heartbeat. And continued that. My boys went into college, and they take them with them. It doesn't matter if they went to San Diego State, Whitley went there, to Texas Tech, where Sam went to, or Utah, or Braden and LSU. The culture was people, the world wasn't ready for that. You know what's come down to that? Hawaii. There's something that
Hold that thought. I'm going to interrupt you because I want to say, first of all, thank you, Linda and Vili, for saying that. You're taking all these cultures of Polynesia and you're teaching the boys to be Polynesian. Join us for the extended version because we're still got to talk about all kinds of other stuff right here on Culturize. Hey, what's up? How's it? Aloha. Thanks for joining me, Makani, on Culturize, right here, the extended version on YouTube. We're sitting and talking about Fijian and Tongan culture with the Fehokos. This show can't get any more cultural. Fiji, Tonga. We were just talking about the boys, and I love the fact that you folks didn't look at Fiji and Tonga as two separate cultures, and Hawaii, the host, and you put it all together and said the boys, you're going to be raised Polynesian. Hawaii, the world. Anybody in football, the football world, watch the boys grow up. From, like you said earlier, carrying the drums. I don't think people realize how heavy a Tongan drum is. From the tunnel all the way to the sidelines. And then you got a drum all throughout the game. Yeah. Was that a huge part of not only football training, but drumming as well for the boys?
They appreciate the culture more than that. Appreciate, a lot of people today look at it as working, but they're learning more every day. And when they continue to take the culture into college, and this year when our youngest son Braden went to the NFL last year with the LA Chargers, the HBO Hard Knock wanted to cover Braden with his family because the haka, they wanted Braden because Braden did the haka. And the thing about it, when Braden was at LSU, our family did the haka, and the video would go viral. And people, the people in the South, the people in Louisiana never see anything like this. And we turned the people in Louisiana become like, they want to come to Hawaii. They want to learn more about my culture, not about Braden's culture. They want to see what kind of food we eat. They want to see what Hawaii is all about, because we always talk about Hawaii. They know Braden's from Hawaii. But when my boys talk about doing things like this, they say they're Polynesian. They say they Tongan or they Samoan or Fijian. They're Polynesian because when people wanted to learn more about the Polynesian culture, and that kind of thing. You want to say something?
Yeah, well, I think what it does is, we taught them to eradicate barriers, right? You're Tongan, you're Samoan. And for us, it was united. We are united in one because we all came through this voyage and we channeled, from ancient Egypt and came through Asia. And so we taught them that. And so it was a unification. Like, you boys are going to hold, because the wars were also known as Tongans against Samoans, Fijians against Samoans, Fijians against Tongans. The Maoris talking about their aggression with the Hawaiians. So it was like, no, we are going to bridge this. We are going to make sure that you boys, you're going to talk about it. And I remember them being laughed at by their high school athletes and friends when they would carry these drums to the stadium, and people would jeer at them and laugh and make fun of them.
Really?
And you know what, the boys were like, no, they can look at us, Mom, but you know what? I heard it. I heard the comics and everything else, but they took that with pride and so much heart. And it's that says, well, when you go on and you perform when the lights are on, you're not going to have any problem in football. You're going to go in the big stadiums and you're going to perform when the lights go on.
That's home.
That's all part of the teaching.
And the fact that is, like you said, Vili, that is sacred ground that you're on. So let's go down the list. Okay, so oldest is
Whitley.
boys.
Whitley.
And
Sam is the second oldest. Then Vili Jr. Then Braden is the youngest.
So it almost as though Braden didn't have an excuse. He had to go.
Had no excuse. He was not being babied, even though he was the baby.
But right now, is he the biggest? The youngest is always the biggest.
Yes.
Yeah.
He is the biggest.
So now, does he get back at the brothers? Like for the growing up the years of being pummeled?
On each other, but they're so close. Like, I mean, we have the moments that we just hope that it lasts forever. But when we all get together, they go on each other, and it's just like there, and it's amazing. They're very close. But we raised them that way. We raised them that the siblings were tight. We raised them that they really were literally blood brothers, and don't let anything come in between, whether it's possessions or money or anything. Nothing has to come in between. And they've been that way always.
But another thing too, the way we raise our boys, especially from Hawaii, was just so special for them. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people, like, they always claim themselves, oh, I'm Tongan. They get to the thing, I'm Samoan, I'm Fijian. They ask, my boys is always from Hawaii. Hawaii never second thought in their mind, they say Hawaii, they Polynesian. Because people kind of figured out that, like, when they look at my boys, they think they're like, oh yeah, Brandon is Tongan, but they don't know Linda's Fijian.
Right.
Sometimes they always say, like, oh, Linda's Hawaiian, Linda's this, but there's one thing good about it. I wanted my boys we represent Polynesia. Yeah. Represent Hawaii, because Hawaii is where they were born, was growing up. They learned everything in Hawaii. They never have a chance to go to Tonga or Fiji and learn anything.
And that's, besides the four boys are perfect examples of being Polynesian, but I thought another unbelievably amazing example of putting it all together and being Polynesian. When did Vili the Warrior come about?
Vili the Warrior, when Ghost June Jones take the job and it's funny story. I was at the year they went to they play Oregon State in the Aloha Bowl, and both teams came to PCC to watch the night show. I came out on the drum, man, started going nuts on the drum, and I didn't know how to get the crowd going crazy. And June Jones, he turned over to Ron Lee, was the offensive coordinator. Said, I want to get that guy. And Ron Lee, I want to bring him to be part of the program. It's funny that the following week, June Jones was looking for my number. He called me. June Jones called me. June watching the show. June called me and he said, "Hey, Vili, this is Coach Jones." Oh yeah, right. I hang up on Coach Jones. And that was one of my friends. That was one of my friends doing a joke with him. And Linda called me. Hey, June Jones wants to get a hold of you. I go, oh, what? So, whole story short, June Jones brought me in, and he said he have an idea. He wanted, if he watched the night show that night, the way I, get the crowd excited. He wanted to see the same thing at Aloha Stadium. So now, this is when we become the Warrior. We're talking about Polynesian. When me and Linda, when we become a Warrior, I used to wear these Tongan outfit. This a regular skirt with the drumstick run out there. Then Linda told me, I don't think he's right. I said, what? We're going to put this all in one. Because my costume that I wear, the Tongan don't wear ngifo, the wear that, the face paint. It represents Maori, the tea leaf represents Hawaii. Everything that I wear was all Polynesian, my outfit. When I came out of that, the people like, oh man, there's when Vili the Warrior was born. When we sit down, we come up with that green paint. The green represents our island. The white represents, it's almost the color of the uniform. White represents the sky. Black represents we come into your house, we come into battle. That's what green, black, and white stand for.
The thought, and that another very Polynesian concept, the thought that you two put into Vili the Warrior, not a lot of people realize. You see the kids grow. You see Vili the Warrior. I think people were also amazed that when somebody ran a touchdown, they would full blast run into you, and you would just pick them up like was one bag of rice. And you're thinking to yourself, yeah, these guys have pads on. They're just as big as you, but you didn't even move. Vili the Warrior. So with June Jones, how many years were you? Were you did they make you the official warrior?
No. They wanted him as a mascot, but Vili said, no, I'm Vili the Warrior. It's about culture.
I like that.
It was about culture. And so June says, yep, Vili's right. Let's work around what Vili wants. And so it was never really, and although everybody says he was official, but he wasn't. We signed a contract with them, but he was more the entertainer.
I like that.
On the field. And so he just was known as Vili the Warrior, and that's what everybody associated him with.
And the fact that not only you were the entertainer, you were the educator at the same time, right?
Yes.
I know you guys are busy. I know you're in Texas. So again, mahalo to both of you. For perpetuating and carrying on both cultures, making sure the boys understand culture as a whole as Polynesian. I hope. When are you guys going to be home next?
June.
Not okay. So we're definitely going to have to hang out.
Yes, we got to go to dinner or something.
Continued success to the boys. All our aloha to you guys. Again, thank you so much for making time. This is Culturize, the extended version. You want to know more, hit the subscribe button, comment down below, find out what the Fehokos are doing, what their boys have been doing, and you want to get a little bit more into Fiji and Tongan culture. This is the place to do it. Again, Fehokos, mahalo. Linda, mahalo, Vili.
Mahalo, Hawaii, aloha.
This is Culturize.
Thank you.